Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to another video. Remember how I said yesterday was the low of the week basically confirmed? And yeah, so far the scenario for Monday is still playing out. Like there's a reason why the system works and an 80% win rate over the last 300 days. However, even though we have an 80% win rate, the trade that I ended up taking yesterday publicly on Twitter and the one that I called ended up being a loss, even though the overall direction was correct. So I'm going to be counting, at least from my side, keeping track of, the trade calls. I'm going to be counting that as a loss. And ultimately, I'm going to do a quick little trade breakdown, but I will also include a video of a trade breakdown down in the description box below for any one of you that would like to just understand the thought process behind yesterday's execution. So when I entered, it was because there was CISD, and once you have CISD around the time of news, it is already a valid entry. Now, one thing that I did mention is beware of the relatively equal lows. If you take a look here, you have 1 and 2 lows that are, relatively equal. And that ended up getting stopped out because you went for a liquidity sweep, but right after you got a CISD back up again. But overall, I didn't end up, getting back into the trade. And even if I were to get back into the trade, it would have been absolutely horrendous because I would have needed to put my stop loss all the way down here, which was way too far. And yesterday just didn't end up, pumping as much as you would have anticipated. And so even if I were to have re-entered, I wouldn't have hit the TP and I would still be in the position right now. Actually, I would be in the red right now. So I've made a video already just breaking this down, but I'm going to call yesterday as an L. The mosquito situation here is absolutely crazy. Oh, no. Yeah. Says you, right? Yesterday there was a mosquito coming on my elbow yesterday as well, which is probably one of the reasons why I was like, I keep touching my elbow, but yeah, for some reason this is like a hotspot for them. Anyways, calling yesterday as an L, which puts me down to 131 wins over the last 161 trade calls made. So overall direction was right, but the trade I took and the trade that I called was wrong. And so no concern though, because we still, this system is a very profitable one. We still end up winning a lot more than we lose. So we just have to continue executing the system. When all of the criteria are met, we take it, accepting that even if we do everything right, we still can end up with a bad outcome, which is what ended up happening yesterday. Now, today hopefully will be different because today is also a news day and the daily bias for today is super clear as well. If you take a look at the daily bias, we are very clearly on a bullish daily bias because we closed bullish yesterday. Besides that, the London session has currently swept underneath the Asia, which by the way, I have called this trade like earlier on Twitter. If you guys have not followed me on Twitter yet, please do. I also call an early trade every day inside Blueprint if you guys. And by the way, if you guys would like to follow along every single trade that I make, then feel free to join Blueprint because this is where I'm going to be sharing my daily trades in like a thread. And as you can see from day one until now, there are a lot more discussions going on right now. And if you would like to just ask me questions like live as the trade is happening and expect a reply within the next 5 minutes, this is the place to be, alongside getting access to my entire system from A to Z, all of the mindset, all of the AI stuff, as well as just get access to my entire trading system from A to Z. And besides that, one other thing that I'm doing, which might be interesting for you, is I will do a trade breakdown for every single trade that I take inside the community. Now, publicly, I may only share a couple, but inside here, it will allow you to not only follow along with the live execution, but see the trade breakdown afterwards to see what we could have improved on. And if you've gotten good results just from watching my videos and taking some trades, then you are likely going to get 10x more results if you join Blueprint. Anyways, this offer lasts for the next 10 days and 10 days only. After that, it is going to be closed. But for now, let's go back into that daily video where the Asia low, as you can see here, has been swept underneath the London session, which leads this to become a manipulation. Now, because our daily bias is bullish today, we could have taken a trade here, exactly the entry that I would have shared on school. If you take a look here, that was the entry. We so far have not yet gotten stopped out yet, and price seems to be pumping straight towards our target. So by the time you watch this is likely going to be too late already. So the opportunity that you're going to want to look for is during the New York to just basically trade a distribution towards the upside. But just understand, because the Asia low has already been swept, while filling in a key level during the London session, which tends to be the session of manipulation, makes today a particularly A+ kind of textbook just trade. And so far, this is the 1 hourly PDA rate that we have already filled. Now, by the time you watch this video, in the event that we close already above 93,900, then this is going to be the level where CISD is going to be confirmed on the 1 hourly chart, and you're just going to trade things towards the upside on the lower time frame. And so even if price just starts forming high highs and high lows right now, just understand today is a super straightforward day. You're just going to want to trade things higher. one of the key things that we must talk about today is the fact that we have news at 8:30 a.m., which means that ideally you're going to want to look for your entries in between the hours of 7:30 a.m. to 8:30 a.m. That is when your entry is most likely going to show. If you're going to get some sort of expansion or CSD or whatever, it's going to come during that hour. So focus your trading on that hour, and you don't have to waste too much time like staring at charts for like 8 hours a day, because truthfully that is not necessary. Most of the day's volatility is going to come within very specific key timings anyways. Just be aware that there is a possibility that you may dive a little bit lower into this over like this 1 hourly order block right here, because you do have relatively equal lows, especially, well, from the 1 hourly chart you may not be able to see it, but once I go into the lower time frames you will be able to see it. But overall you will expect this order block to hold. You don't expect this order block to get broken. If it does, like if price goes below 92,200, then this trade idea for today is going to be invalidated. And just understand that just because you come back into the order block does not mean that you are going to just get into a trade, place a limit and set a stop loss. That is not how the system works. You still need to wait for a 5-minute change in state of delivery, or just some sort of a 5-minute confirmation before you dive into the trade. Now going down to the 5-minute chart again, you will see these relatively equal lows. I wouldn't be surprised if they got swept out first before you get that CISD in a V-shaped recovery, just like what we saw yesterday. So just be aware that that is a possibility. As usual, I will be updating everything on Twitter anyways, so feel free to follow me there if you haven't already. Ethereum has a daily bullish bias. To the 1 hourly chart we go, and we will see that we are coming into some sort of, like, we've actually filled in a fair bit of gap during the London session, or right at the start of the London session. And so far, in the event that you make a candle close above 3,200, that will kind of validate this as a potential bullish order block where you can start going higher and just trading things higher. Now, I don't really see too many more key levels towards the downside where we could potentially get in. The only one would be this order block right here, but I don't think we are going to look for a retracement that is that deep. In the event that you have it though, this could still be worth an entry, but just going down into the 5-minute chart, you will see that the Asia session low has already been swept out during the London session, and so far you're already forming a CISD. So in the event that you return back here, stop here, take a 2R, potentially even a 4R trade is possible on Ethereum. Just understand that today the setup is very clear. It is looking like kind of an AMD kind of setup, and if you get it, then just trade it higher. Now, of course, if price ends up trading already higher by the time you watch this video, just continue to momentum trade this towards the upside and you are going to be fine. Now, next up, we're going to take a look at Solana. Now, in terms of Solana, you also had a very bullish candle close, much more bullish compared to Bitcoin. So far, you are re-entering into some sort of lower time frame fair bit of gap, and right now all you need is a 5-minute CISD and you are going to be good to go. And so far you're getting an early CISD already. In the event that you watch this video and price has already started trading above $144, that is going to be your setup number 2, where you can just dive, like, again, just momentum trade things towards the upside. Overall, today is a very straightforward day. Just trade things towards the upside basically, while taking into account that you may get some sort of a sweep of the relatively equal lows, while taking into account that the best trading time for today is going to be likely between 7:30 a.m. to 8:30 a.m. And with that said, the masterclass recording is going to be sent probably tonight, so pay attention to your email for anyone that has signed up to the masterclass. And if you would like to just copy paste this system that you've seen on YouTube that's been working like across 300 days with an 80% win rate, and if you have the means to afford it, join Blueprint. You're not going to regret it, because genuinely it is the best course that I've produced to date, and it is going to be worth every penny when you see the insane results that you're going to get. Otherwise, I'll see you guys later on Twitter. Ciao, ciao.